Well, good morning, friends, and welcome again to Autumn Cottage on this really beautiful winter morning. It's Wednesday the 29th of January, and it's the time for getting jobs done in the garden, especially when the weather's as nice as this. We've got several jobs planned. We're going to have some work done in and around the garden looking at the fencing. I'm going to take you down into the garden now and show you exactly why we need some fencing jobs done. We're very lucky. We're back onto Highclere Park. We have lots of lovely wildlife coming into the garden, as you know. I just want to show you one or two places where the wildlife is not quite as welcome. And we're just going down to the pond area, and I'd like to just show you the effects of one of the visitors that we have in the garden. This is one of the viburnums. There's a fair little bit that's been chewed here. Can you see? That's really not what a viburnum should look like. I can hear rustling noises down the bottom there. There are some of the pheasants disappearing off through the hedge. As you can see, we've got virtually no boundary at all here, which is lovely. It's a very open feeling, but the openness extends to some rather naughty little deer that come into the garden, I'm afraid. You can see that it's terribly easy for them to get in here, and it's not really such a great idea as far as the plants are concerned. While we're down here by the pond, I would like to just show you my efforts from last year, which was a session of planting lots and lots of snowdrops that weren't here before. And as you can see, the result is that they're now all popping up like little jewels in the garden, and there are also some lovely hellebores coming up. Although actually looking closely at these hellebores, I've got a nasty suspicion something's been nibbling on those as well. It's a good idea to show you what the area around the pond looks like at this time of the year. It's really beautiful, but it is in its winter state. It's the one time when you can actually see most of the surface of the pond. And in not very long, all these grasses will be cut down, right down to the base, the grasses and the bamboo over there. Just outside the summer house. It always looks very drastic when I do it, but that's the way to get the lovely bright vibrant colours of the variegated bamboo, is to cut it right down. So there are a few more snowdrops coming up over there. There's Sophia, keeping an eye on all that's in the garden and encouraging the contemplations that go on in the summer house. Just come up from the summer house now, from round the pond, and something which is a real pleasure in the winter is the glowing of this dogwood midwinter fire, which is around the bottom of the sorbus. That's always beautiful, especially when the sunlight shines through it. And this is a variety that looks much better when it's had a good frosting, which it had last night. Really quite a frosty night. And here's another area that needs plenty of attention over the next few months, is the bed between us and next door. And here, under the cotinus, which has no leaf on it at all now, but there's a lovely sitting area there. Always enjoy sitting there and looking down the garden. It's one of the herbaceous borders that it's very bleak and most barren, and yet if you look closely you can see the irises are already shooting through. The daylilies are also shooting through. That's why we've got these covers, because that's one of the more choice plants that the deer seem to enjoy raising right down to the ground. So they are being protected with very ugly covers, but very essential at this time of the year. It's surprising how early they come through, and it's surprising how much the deer like destroying them. And under the apple tree, the snowdrops are really starting to put on a show now. As you can see, they're really coming up. The ones that I split up last year are flowering earliest. The snowdrops really like to be divided. So there they come, and a few daffodils amongst them as well. Sounds as if somebody's having a lovely time in their glider. Well, not a glider, a noisy light aircraft. That's one of the blights, I'm afraid, about modern day life, even out in the countryside. It's never completely quiet. This little bit that I want to show you, I think you'll understand the reason why we need to get some deer fencing sorted out here. Are these once beautiful spotted laurels, no beautiful no longer, gnawed down to stumps by that naughty pair of muntjac. They're dear and beloved animals. We love having them, but we do not like what they do to the garden. So let's end on something attractive, not a grumble. This is the hellebore bed, and my goodness, the hellebores are really coming through now. You can see the white ones there, and this lovely purple double hellebore here. Really beautiful. Unfortunately, hellebores always tip their heads, so you can't really see the beauty, but there it is. Now, as I walk back into the conservatory, you will notice that there's a tripod. The tripod is a mount for one of my favourite pieces of equipment. It's the trap camera, which we put out, and we really do record most everything that comes through this garden. And oh my goodness, what surprises we have when we look at it in the morning and see who's been visiting. So for the rest of this little video, I'm just going to leave you with some footage of some of the lovely visitors that do an awful lot of damage. See you next week. Bye bye.